Good morning, student. So let's start our chapter conservation of plants and animals. So there are. I'm gonna start with an example with a story. There are two or three friends standing somewhere, and they are talking. So now these guys they found something interesting. So they say that, do you know that some animals which are exclusively found in a particular area, that particular animals are now found only in one particular area and nowhere else. So the other people got surprised. That is also possible. That they are specific. It is possible that some animals are very specific to some particular condition, because they have their only particular area. For example, let's take an example of a flying squirrel. All of you know the squirrel. Do you know how it is look? But have you ever seen the flying squirrel? Maybe you would have seen it also, but otherwise they do not commonly seen or find. So these flying squirrel, which is exclusively found in certain areas, so where do we see them? It is exclusively found in Panchmari National Park. So just now we will before video, in my previous video, we had already talked about the Panchmari National Park. So these kind of species which is found only exclusively in some specific areas, they are called endemic species. So now we are going to discuss some endemic species. So what are endemic species? These are species which are unique to specific geographical location. So what do we mean by species? Species are those group of organisms which can be reproduced, that can reproduce amongst themselves. Okay. So let us take a few examples to understand it better. So when you talk about dog or a cat, so do you think a dog and a cat, they reproduce together? Not really. The dogs reproduce only with dogs. The cat reproduce only with cat. Okay. So because they all belong to a same species. Okay. So though the animals which are belonging to the same species, they can reproduce together. So when I talk about dog is a very broad term. There are many species in the dog again. The dog belonging to one species cannot reproduce with another dog belonging to different species. But those dogs which can breed if they belong to another species. So all organisms which breed among themselves, which reproduce among themselves, they are called species. Okay. So these endemic species are found are unique to specific geographical location. So let us take an example of Panchmari National Park in Uttar Pradesh. So here if you talk about some of the endemic species, so in plants, sal tree, wild mango tree. So these are some trees which are not found in anywhere else other than Panchmari National Park. So they are endemic plants. So they are termed in flora. Similarly, what are the endemic fauna which are none other than found in the Panchmari National Park? That is flying squirrel. It is quite big in size also as compared to the normal squirrel. And there is another type of squirrel that is called a giant squirrel, the big size squirrel. So these are some endemic fauna of Panchmari National Park. Now Kaziranga National Park. find it out for yourself. Kaziranga National Park. Find out many different national park and learn it also. So if I talk about Kaziranga National Park, when you talk about flora, some of the plants which are commonly found here is in Martian elephant grass. If you talk about fauna or animal, when you talk about Kaziranga National Park, Indian rhinoceros. It is something which is very very popular, and it is endemic too because it is found in Kaziranga National Park. And we also have a high density of tiger which is found in Kaziranga National Park. There are 479 bird species found in Kaziranga National Park. So that is a big number. 479 different types of birds are present here. In fact, there are 42 type of reptile species present in the Kaziranga National Park. So it is very diversified national park which use a huge variety of flora and fauna. Now, however, there is a bad news related to these species, is that they are at higher risk to extinction. They are more likely to be extinct. What do you mean by extinct? Something which get lost. Okay. The most common example is dinosaurs. So do you see dinosaurs now? They don't exist anymore. So you are not able to see it. We see it in movies and but they are not present in reality. Okay, because they existed once upon a time and they vanished all of a sudden, and gradually they started reducing. Long back, a large number of dinosaurs were present, and now they are extinct. They are not found anywhere. We can only see them in a movie, in a cartoon. Okay. So that's how they became extinct, and this is how a species become extinct. So if the number of species is reducing very fast, it is a check for us that that species is going to be extinct very soon. So then we can preserve and reserve those species. So why do you think so that endemic species are present only in some specific condition, some specific area? So endemic species are higher risk of extinction. So why do you think so? Because these species are present only in some specific area, some specific condition. So this is quite obvious that if a particular type of animal, they are not present everywhere, so it is quite obvious that a particular type of animals present in a particular type of area. Okay, so it might cause damage the species of that area, since these species are not present anywhere else. So that is why endemic species are higher risk of extinction. So let us have a closer look. Why are endemic species at higher risk? Because of loss of habitat, due to human exploitation, and due to forest fire. Forest fire could be one reason of loss of habitat. Another reason could be human exploitation and deforestation, cutting down trees and clearing all the entire forest. So we are just animals living in that area. They lost their habitat. So now, just for an instant, let us assume that we talk about Panchmari National Park. There are certain animals and plants which are exclusively present there. For example, the wild mango tree. It is present only in Panchmari National Park, and it is not present in any other places. So if any sort of damage happens to Panchmari National Park, what will happen to the wild mangoes? All of them will get finished. Okay, they get damaged. So now once they get damaged, they will not seen in anywhere else. So you basically we end up with the wild mango trees. Okay, become extinct. So this is one cause. They are highly risk of extinction. Second is introduction of new species to that area. Since because of the presence of, if some new foreign species enter inside that area, so might they will be attack the species which are already present there, which are endemic species. For example, let us take the same example of Panchmari National Park. As I said, the flying squirrel is an endemic species of Panchmari National Park. Okay. Now let us suppose that a huge animal, a different animal, enter to the Panchmari National Park, and that animal feeds only on flying squirrel. So what will happen to the flying squirrel? All of the flying squirrel become extinct, and once all the flying squirrel become eaten up, there will be no flying squirrel in the Panchmari National Park, and we don't find flying squirrel anywhere else also. So this is how a new species which might end up the old species. So that is one risk. The other risk is introduction of new species. They might compete with the present species. That means they might compete with for food, water, and everything. Okay. If the requirement of both the flying squirrel and the new species is same, so when they become competitors, that is also become a risk for the flying squirrel. Okay, so the flying squirrel might have to face some problems. So due to the introduction of new species, the old species become extinct. Okay. Now we are going to talk about endangered animals. So there are animals which are becoming near extinction. They are at higher risk of becoming extinct. Okay. Some of the examples are Bengal tiger. You can actually count the Bengal tiger which are left over. The Asian elephant, chimpanzee, black rhino, snow leopard, blue whale, Asian elephant, they all are endangered animals because their number are become diminishing. Okay, we all are very trying our best to conserve these endangered species and endangered animals because their numbers are diminishing very fast, and that's why so we are trying our best to conserve them. So if possible, we increase the number of these extinct animals because we don't want to lose it. We do not really want to lose them. Okay, we do not encourage the extinction of animals because it is a rich diversity, and we should try our best to maintain that diversity. So what could happen when these species could become extinct? First of all, it is going to disturb the food chain. So one of the harmful effects is it disturbs the food chain. How it affects the food chain? Food chain is something which talks about how different organisms dependent on others to obtain their food. For example, there are animals like cows and goat which directly depend on plant for their food. There are another animals also like lions and tigers which depends on cows and buffaloes for their food. So as they all are dependent on each other for the food, if we let us take an example of a food chain. Grass which is being eaten up by deer, which is being eaten up by lion. So this is a very simple example of food chain. So let us suppose what will happen if the deer become extinct. If all the deer end up, there is no more deer at all. The amount of grass will increase a lot then, and the lions are not going to eat the grass. So that is how the food chain get disturbed. Okay. Now ecosystem get affected, because when we talk about ecosystem, we actually talk about in the entire system of plants and animals and microorganisms, soil, water, air, anything present there. So now if suddenly one of the component reduce very fast, let us take an example. When we talk about ecosystem, we talk about biotic and abiotic component both, living and non-living component. So now what will happen? So this is living and this is non-living component. Now what will happen if all the biotic component, so if any of these plants become or microorganism become extinct, the entire ecosystem get affected. If extinction continue, there will be a day when there no life exists on earth. So let us take an example. Now you have an aquarium in your house, and there are say 22 fishes in your aquarium. Now what happens if number of fishes start reducing in the aquarium? Now as the number keeps on reducing, what will happen over a long period of time? Now gradually, after a longer period of time, the number of fishes might reduce to zero. Okay. When the number of fishes reduce to zero, what happens to the aquarium? So your aquarium remains as a glass with no living organism in it. Once all the fishes die, what would you do? In aquarium, there is an option for you to add more and more fishes. But in a real ecosystem, in reality, in the earth, if the species become extinct, we cannot add species to our environment. Okay. For example, the dinosaurs become extinct. Can we bring back the dinosaurs? We can't. All of them is possible if we control all that is we can do is we can just, so all that is possible by us is to control the extinction, because if anything get extinct, we cannot bring them back. And if we gradually become all the life form become extinct, then we cannot exist anymore. We cannot get anything, we cannot bring back any of them. So this is how the extinction get affected. All the life form will vanish and the life will not exist, and we cannot bring them back also. So I hope with this it is clear that how do extincts affect all of us, because many of us might feel if tiger is becoming extinct, why we bother? Let them become extinct, why we bother? We will live happily. Because there is a risk with the tiger also. Maybe tiger would have eaten us, but that is not thing. So if you look at the broader picture of the tiger, broader picture of the food chain, so then you will realize that tiger is also very important for environment. Okay. So therefore, it is extremely required to maintain the balance, maintain the balance of the various components of the ecosystem. Okay. So it is better for us to save the endangered species, because as we already reached to the low number of the endangered species, so now we have to save them at least now. So how can we save them? Stop hunting and killing animals, because by doing this we are actually reducing their number. Protect their habitat, because if we harm their habitat, if we actually cut down the forest, the animal is going to die itself. So protect their habitat also. Do not spoil their surrounding environment. Now it is not only the trees and the animals which need to be protected, it is also another animals which is present in the surrounding, also the environment. Let us suppose wherever you have a national park or endangered species. Now if you start creating a lot of air pollution, a lot of water pollution in that area, what will happen? That is going to impact your national park also, because some disease also caused by the polluted air and water. So we need to make sure that the surrounding is also become appropriate for the survival of plant and animal. So these are the number of ways by which we can save the endangered species. So in the next video, I will tell you how to control the deforestation in detail. Okay, thank you, students.